Today I'd like to talk about the communication model. The communication model can be seen outlined here, which is a way for us to be able to talk about all the aspects of the communication model and have a similar vocabulary, so it's easy to talk about the different aspects of the communication model. I have 8 aspects listed here, and we can go through them one by one. First, number 1 is the speaker. That's the person attempting to communicate to another person in the setting of the communication model. That's anybody giving a speech, anybody talking to a group of people, even just anybody talking to a singular person. That can be in person, it can be by phone, by writing on a piece of paper, by texting. All of these things are considered communication. Number 1 is the speaker. That makes number 2 the listener or the receiver. The speaker is trying to communicate to the listener or the receiver. Number 3 is going to be titled the message. Whatever is the piece or pieces of information that the speaker is trying to communicate to the listener can be termed the message. Number 4 is a key concept for communication. When the speaker communicates the message to the listener, any reply that the listener gives back to the speaker is called feedback. If the feedback is not verbal, it can also be nonverbal. Sometimes this is just simply a head nod to say that you have received the communication, and a lot of times it can be more than that. 5 is the channel. This is the environment that the communication happens inside of. Think of it as a container. If you are talking to your best friend in the lunchroom, then you talking verbally is the channel in which that happens in. If you are sending your mom a text message to remind her about your practice after school, the channel is the phone communication. If you are leaving a Post-it note on the counter for your dad to remind him to pick you up after school, these are all channels of communication, the avenue with which you choose to communicate with the speaker. Number 6 is noise or interference, and that's anything that can cause a disturbance between the speaker and the listener. Sometimes it's as simple as somebody talking around you. Sometimes that's as complicated as your signal being interrupted on your cell phone while you're talking on the phone or text messaging. Number 7 and number 8 are similar. Number 7 is encoding. This is how you choose to tailor your message for the speaker that you are talking to. My example that I always use is that I would never choose to, number 1, text my grandma because she doesn't know how to. And I would definitely never text her something like BRB. Because again, she has no idea what that means. So I'm going to encode my message in a way that's appropriate for the audience. Can I text my best friend BRB? Absolutely, she knows what I mean. My grandma doesn't, so I'm not going to choose to encode the message in that way. Now, number 8 is the other end of that, and how the speaker chooses to receive the message in decoding. And a lot of times this is fairly easy for people to do, but also complicated. If you've ever gotten that text message that you didn't really know if it was a joke or serious, and you had to clarify, that's decoding. Some people do that decoding automatically and they don't check about the meaning, and then they take it offensively sometimes, or don't take it as a joke, or take it as too serious, and that decoding can sometimes get the speaker and the listener both in trouble for not having clear communication. That is our complete communication model. There's a speaker sending a message to a listener. Hopefully that listener will have feedback for the speaker inside a channel that is appropriate without noise or interference. The speaker encodes the message properly so it can be decoded by the listener. And that is our basic communication model in the least amount of time that I can get that done clearly. Thanks for listening.